Hello everyone. In today's episode, you will get a double dose of French accent. We invited an international rider representing my country, discover the reality of a non-professional rider living in Denmark and competing for France. Julie Darbon-Guillin is in the Tell Tales podcast. Hello Julie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's a beautiful weather in Sweden. I guess you have the same weather in Denmark.
Exactly. We are so happy that summer is finally coming, or spring at least.
Yes, yeah, a bit dry. Always something to complain, I guess.
Very French, very French. I can
Exactly.
recognize you here.
Yes, yeah, yes. All right. For usually the way we start the podcast, the way we start the recording is just asking the guests to present themselves. That's the best way to introduce how we're gonna start talking about you and why do we talk together. Can you tell us who are you, Julie?
So my name is Julie. I am initially from France, as you might all hear it with my accent. I am consultant in strategy and operation and finance. I live now in Denmark. And the reason why I'm here today is because of my other cap, that is that I'm an Icelandic horse rider. And I've been so for over 22 years. I have to say it's a long time now.
You present yourself as an Icelandic horse rider for sure,
Yes.
but you also representing our country, well, at least our both country, France. So you're not a casual Icelandic horse rider neither.
Exactly. So I've been part of the French team since 2016, and it's been the honor of my life to represent France at the all big international competition. I love France. I'm French, and it's great.
So I guess we can just start from very curious question, but you're French, yet you're living in Denmark. Can you just tell us that story a bit?
Yeah, so during my study, my bachelor, I had a year abroad that were mandatory. And my dream was to go to Denmark because of course, my passion for Icelandic horse. And Denmark for me was a land where we had like all great trainers and great competitions. And I was just dreaming about it. And one fun fact is when I was a little bit younger, like Nils Christian Larsen was just my idol, And
It will be sad to hear that he's not anymore your idol.
yeah,
Maybe.
he is. And he's a great friend now. And I bought my horse from him, and it was just, yeah. I think it's I decided to move to Denmark for a horse reason. I just wanted to become better rider, and that's the reason why I moved to Denmark.
And you have a Danish horse? No.
I have an Iceland horse that I bought in Denmark. Yes.
All right. So if I can rewind a bit, it's usually a question we ask to our guests. It's been a long time that you're riding, 22 years, you said?
Exactly. Right? Oh my God.
Yeah, 22 years. In France, Icelandic horse is not common. So can you tell us a bit that story? Like, how did you started? Why Icelandic horse in France? It's a bit peculiar, no? It's a bit weird.
I mean, I've just been so lucky, I have to tell you.
Okay.
The stable near my parents' place were an Icelandic horse stable. So that's how I started. My family is not at all in the horse industry. But I was dreaming of riding since forever. And when I, kept on asking and asking and asking, then they just looked around, and 14 kilometers away was this very fantastic stable called L'Écurie des Sources. And that's where it started.
Right. Okay. So you actually started with Icelandic horses.
I started with Icelandic horses, and it's very, very rare in France. But I was lucky enough to find this place first.
It is rare, right? To have like because I was about to ask. Okay, you probably did some classical riding in France in the riding school, but no, you skipped all of that. You only rode Icelandic.
Yeah, so I started with Icelandic, and I went to military a little bit later when I was a little bit older. My first Icelandic horse was retired, and I just wanted to keep riding. So, and I was studying in Strasbourg at the time, so I started doing military. But the first love for Icelandic horse never went away, so I just bought a new horse, a new Icelandic horse.
Right. So you didn't give up. You didn't give up on Icelandic horse.
And I didn't give up on the dream to buy it from Niels.
Was it a dream? Was it some goal?
I mean, I don't know. Like in France, we don't. At the time, we didn't know so many like great riders, but Niels is really, really good to promote himself also via social media. So yes, it was a little bit of a dream for me to buy a horse from him.
And yet, that's a perfect transition to when is the last time you bought a horse?
So the last time I bought a horse was in 2020. And the horse is my current competition horse that is called Byrnir.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, he's born in Iceland. He has moved later on to Faroe Island. And then he flew over to Denmark, where I bought him. We lived together for 2 years in Denmark before moving to France. And now we are back to Denmark. So it's a global horse. He has traveled more than the normal person, I would say.
Oh wow! Because you went back to France.
Yes.
You did Denmark, France, and coming back to Denmark.
Exactly. I finished my master in France back in 2022.
Right. Okay. But the love of Denmark was too strong, so you had to come back.
Exactly.
And Byrnir is still your competition horse. How old is he?
Yeah, Byrnir is my competition horse. He's turning 16 this year.
Right.
So in the Icelandic horse world, I think it's just the perfect age. They are getting a little bit like calmer and a little bit more used to competition. So I think he's just getting better and better and better every day.
Can we just briefly talk about the competition that you've been to, and are you targeting for any competition this year?
Yes. So Byrnir and we have been competing together since the very beginning. The first year was a little bit special because of Corona.
Right.
It was in 2020, so in Denmark, all the competition and everywhere in Europe, I imagine, were cancelled at the time. So I started competing with him in 2021, which was a shame because that was my first year as a senior rider. So I felt like Corona stole my last year as a young rider, but that's just how it is. And we competed together in few very big competition like the World Championship in 2023. We have done ice horse many times together in Denmark, and also the Mid-European Championship.
Right. And is it a target for this year? There is the MEM this year, right?
Yes, exactly. And yes, it is a target. I told myself as I am not a professional rider. I have a job, and it's very important for me to be part of the French team if my horse is in the perfect shape and if I am myself in a very good shape. I am very humble. I know I'm not going to win. And I'm very aware of this, but I'm always going for the best performance ever. My very big goal is to promote the Icelandic horse riding, from French rider. It's really important for me to show like a very good ride. And to do so, you really need to have the horse in perfect shape. So that's my goal. And if I feel like the horse is really great, then I'm gonna go to the MEM.
Right. Is it you mentioned that because is it because of last year with the World Championship?
Yes. Unfortunately, last year was a little bit special for me. I had a perfect start of the season, and the horse was really, really, really good. We had great result together for us, and unfortunately, he got sick after a competition in July. And then I decided to take it slow, and I decided to cancel my venue to the World Championship, which was a shame because I have dreamt about that for a long, long time. But I think it was the right decision. I have only one horse, and I just want to take care of him the best I can, and I felt like that was the best decision I could do for him.
So it's both for him and also based on what you said. Even if you would be able to ride him there, but you would not be able to represent or to have the best representation as a French rider, I guess.
Exactly. So I've always, I always have in my mind the idea that if I'm going and wearing the blue jackets with the French flag, I want to show the best version of myself as a rider. I want to ride in balance. I want to have a horse that is, in good shape, and it felt like Byrnir was not feeling so much himself before the World Championship, and I just also did not want to take the risk of bringing him there and traveling quite a long distance from Denmark to Switzerland. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not an easy decision, especially because at the time. So the horse had a little bit of a liver issue, but nothing like crazy. We could, make it heal with simply taking plant-based medicine.
Right.
So it was nothing crazy, and we got the green light from the vets to go. But I at the time I missed like 3 weeks of training, and I just felt like it wasn't really fair for him,
Right.
So it took me a long, not a long time, but it was a long night without sleeping, thinking about what would be the best decision. And today, like looking at him being happy again and excited again and good again, then I think it was a good decision.
So this, I mean, this is for obviously I cannot understand. I didn't have ever to took that decision, but for sure it is going to represent your own country. I would say our country, and being able to do so, but just saying, okay, it's not good for my horse. I think it's obviously very courageous, but it must be heartbreaking in a lot of ways. And you said it at the beginning. You're very proud of representing your country, so I guess it means even more for you.
Yeah, it means a lot. And yeah, again, I think as a rider, we have to take like a very important decision sometimes. And I think as a rider, we have the best interest at heart for our horses. And yeah, that was what drove my decision.
So this year, the MEM, that's the goal? That's the overall idea?
That's the overall idea, yes.
Where is the MEM? I didn't even check.
I think this year it's in Austria. But to be honest, I am not fully sure either, so don't take my words for granted. I think I'm a little bit like superstitious, so I'm also, I don't want to jinx it, I really want to take the decision like at the right time, and I didn't want to be like a distance the problem for me, because sometimes I always think about transport and the logistic around it. And this year I told myself, no, if the horse is good, you're going to make it happen, whatever and wherever it is.
Yes. I mean, can I just say something and you tell me if I'm allowed to say, well, I can remove what I'm about to say. You said it. You're not a professional rider, right? You have a real-time job. You can tell us maybe that Friday you were competing and working on the same day, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's that's what it is to be a consultant. We work something like between 60 and 80 hours a week,
Right.
and on top of this, yeah, a writer, right? So it's early morning and late nights. So I was just doing some Excel work in the competition, and I think people must have think like, who is that person, you know? But that's just who I am, and that's what I chose. I think being able to have this job on the side allow me to also be the owner of that great horse, and I'm
Right.
so grateful for that. So obviously, like every riders that are riding at that level, at one point I question myself, right? And sometimes, especially when I am in front of my computer for many hours, I'm like, oh damn, I would be better, riding horses now. But in another way, I also know it's a tough tough ecosystem, tough environment, and it's a tough job. I don't
Yeah.
minimize this at all.
I think I have plenty of questions around competing for France and like how does it work, etc. But there was something that struck me is that you competing. We saw each other in Sweden. You compete
Yes.
in Sundabaki. You went
Mm-hmm.
in ice horse. You do
Yes.
competition all over Denmark. Do you see difference in terms of quality of riding or
Yeah, I mean, between Sweden and Denmark, not really. I think there
not
is a
really?
huge difference between ice horse and Sundabaki, for example,
Right.
just because ice horse is like an indoor competition. So
Yeah.
it is so special to ride in there.
Do
The
you prepare for
tribute,
it?
it's difficult to prepare for it. And, the weather in Herning is always so. I mean, so bad. I haven't been to Herning like one day where it was like sunny. So I think that like a month ago when we were in Ice Horse, it was just like snowy and rainy, and then you enter the arena and it's like extremely warm. So the
Right.
difference for the horses is like a little bit difficult to cope, and it's also something that is difficult to work at home,
Yes.
as well as the tribune are extremely close from the track. So the horse can get disturbed by the public, and this is also something very difficult to work
True.
from
Yeah.
home.
True. Yeah. Sundabaki in that sense is like you have space. You have a lot
Yes,
of. Yeah, there is not so much tribune, so that's okay. So I guess it's
exactly. It feels like riding in the middle of the forest. I think it's a little bit like easier for us.
yeah,
We feel a little bit like at ease
yeah,
in an environment like this, for sure,
like
for
this.
sure.
You competed in France for Iceland in Icelandic horse competition.
Yes, and I have to say, and I don't say that because I'm French. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but
okay.
my
So you're
favorite
gonna say that because you're French. Yes, okay.
because my favorite competition ever is in France, and it's Pure Cheval.
Pure cheval. Yeah,
Yes, so Pure Cheval is an Icelandic horse farm that is located near Paris, and
yeah.
I just recommend to everyone, if they have the chance to go there, like once in their life. It's just once in a lifetime experience. It's a really nice place to compete. They have a beautiful track, and it's just a great party in the evening, and yeah, I think it's a very special place.
Is it the atmosphere that makes it also special, or
Yes, and they also get like very amazing judges. Usually, so 2 years ago they had only judges that judged at the World Championship. That was
right?
so amazing. They also have a super well prepped track. They work really hard to have the best facilities to welcome, rider from all over Europe. So in that sense, it's a very, very great competition, and also the mood, the people.
Yes.
It's just nice.
Can you tell us how come you living in Denmark, but you can still compete for France? How does it work?
Yes, I mean, I still have a French passport, so it's in that sense, it's very easy for me to still compete for France. And we are still very much in contact with the French Federation. After each competition, I'm sending them, some video of my performance, good or bad, it depends. But they are very much following what we are doing, and also we are such a small community in France. So basically, we are like very much in contact, all of the sports rider, I would say.
Okay, so you keep contact with them, and they basically you have minimum points. I think they are pretty standards, and then they choose who to send, I guess.
Exactly. So it works in the exact same way as it works like everywhere else. So you have to compete in preliminaries with some minimal grades.
Right.
That you need to reach. If you don't reach them, you cannot be qualified to participate to an international competition like the World Championship or the MEM. And after that, there is a committee that is deciding who is going for the French team. So it's really basically the same as for other country.
Pretty straightforward. Then it's just you living. You're not living in France. That's the only. The only thing.
Exactly. So I try to still go home for the national championship every year. Unfortunately, I don't bring Byrnir often because
I was about to ask to participate or not, but no, to just come and look at it, I guess.
So I got the chance to be able to come and ride another horse that has been
right
by some people. So I usually ride like maybe a young horse or something like this, and it allows me to let Byrnir at home for the weekend and not impose him to travel for over like 14,000 kilometers. I think in terms of horse welfare, it's better this way. I think it's been, a lot of discussion back and forth with the French Federation, as you can imagine. But they agree on this rule, and I'm very happy about it. I think it's super important that I show up. It's super important to be there for the team. It also, simply to have a very well collaboration together.
Right.
But for me, like if the horse is here or not, I don't really see the point of driving so many hours, sometimes 3 weeks before a big event. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, and it will be for a weekend, and you need to on top of the cost, and it's also not great for the horses. The horse, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you competition rider, you compete, etc. Do you have a trainer?
Yes,
Do you have trainers? Maybe multiple, maybe.
Yes, I have a trainer and trainers. I've been lucky enough to have got an amazing trainer along the way, and especially since I started riding in Denmark. I started with Mia Hedbo in Odense. I also got a lot of teaching from Niels at the time. Then I moved to France, and the horse was located in Germany. Sorry,
right.
And I got lucky enough to have teaching from Andrea Balz, this Switzerland rider.
Right.
Really learned a lot from her. And along the way, during those like many years, I also got clinic from Tony, and the ex-national trainer from Denmark.
Right.
And the last 2 years, I've been training with Sarah Rosenberg, a really, really great person from Denmark that is also a very good friend. So it makes our collaboration very easy, and it's a lot about discussing, having a
Okay. Okay.
conversation. I think as a non-professional rider, and there is a lot of mental part in it,
Right.
And I think Sarah is also great to take into account that is sometimes not just about riding. It's about what you have in your mind. It's about how mentally prepared you are. It's about how you manage stress. I think sometimes it's question we are not speaking so much about, but this is part of our everyday life as rider. You have to manage the stress to be able to compete at a higher level.
And against people that are doing that for their job. So I guess it's an
Exactly.
interesting conundrum. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I'm curious to know you because you train and you rode in France and you're riding now in Denmark. Do you feel you learn so much more in Denmark? Do you feel that you decided to move you decided to move to Denmark for the horses? Do you feel it was a winning bet? Do you feel like you improved a lot?
Yeah, for me, it was just the best decision ever. We have amazing trainer in France, so don't get me wrong. I just was at a point where I was ready to move on and also get someone that had a lot of track experience.
Yes.
That was really, really important for me, that the person could also relate to the competition I will go to, and I think in Denmark, you have a lot of experienced rider, and that's what I wanted. I wanted someone that could really mentor me into the
Right.
rider I wanted to become. And it's
Yeah,
difficult to
yeah.
say if you're never there, right? You're
No.
always progressing all the time, and I think that's what we love about our sport, right? I love having teaching. I love having comments. I'm always trying to get an extra eye on me. So I'm really someone that is you know willing to have this extra help.
Right. I mean, it resonated with multiple guests that we had, right? Even professional riders,
Yeah.
even though Martin, for instance, told us that he doesn't, but the most of them have someone that they can rely on, and they always talk about like just to have this outside eyes that looking the horse on the side from the ground. Just for that, it's super helpful to have someone that you can trust.
Yes, exactly. And I think, sometimes you have days where you feel like, damn it, it's really, really working today, and you want to
Yep.
scream to the world, yes, yes, I won today. But then the day after, it's just not working anymore.
Yeah.
And then you really need to have someone that is telling you, yes, it's because you are doing this wrong. Or maybe it's the little detail that will change everything. And I think once you reach a certain level, then it's really more about like the small detail that is making the big difference. It's how the horse step under himself. It's how he's carrying himself, and how do you improve this without disturbing the horse.
I guess what I gather when you talk, if you have something to improve in your riding, you will go with the mental aspect then more than anything else, or
No, I think I have so much to learn also on the technical part. I'm still working a lot on the dressage parts, even though I've done quite some years of military.
yeah,
You always need to learn to do an even better shoulder in. I think every rider can
never
relate to
heard of it, never heard
that.
of that ever.
So no, I do have to improve in the technical aspect as well as the mental one, and I am on a journey for that.
Do you have a plan, or no? You just like day by day. You just like
I'm a consultant, right? So of course
yeah. I
I
was
have a
about
plan.
yeah.
Uh,
Good.
yes, I think if horses taught me one thing, and they also tell me this at work, is that I'm just planning all the time. And you know, when you're a writer, you always need to know, okay, I'm gonna write at like, you know, between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. so I have time to work. And you know, it's always, you know, a game of a logistic game in your day. So yes, I'm searching also for someone that can help in the mental part. At the
Yeah.
moment, I haven't found anyone
Okay.
that could support on this. I decided that it did not have to be someone that is actually a writer,
Right.
because I think a lot of athletes are searching for the exact same mental training, you know,
Right.
and it's just, how do you perform the best when you are under pressure? And it's I haven't found the person, but I'm very actively looking, and that's part of my plan at least.
Yeah. The moment we found someone, you will hear it on the podcast. You can contact that person.
Yes, yes.
I think there is some people that mention Isolfur, for example, mention a lot something about like, because he's now Isolfur Lindahl is like, he now is the coach for the Icelandic senior team, and he mentioned a lot about there is a lot of mental coaching to be done, and I think he can bring that to the team to just improve the performance.
That is very fantastic, and I'm very happy about the fact that it's getting more and more and more popular to work
Yeah.
on this aspect, as well as the training, the horse training, you know.
And I realized you talking about 5 in the morning. I didn't even ask you what is a day or a week of Julie looks like, because you mentioned it. You need to squeeze riding and working for long hours during the week. How does it look like?
So basically, my goal is always to be present when I'm riding my horse. So I prefer to go a little bit earlier and have the time, you know, to ground myself before riding and be like, okay, now I'm here. I'm not on my email. I'm not like
Right.
answering this client. I'm
Yes.
there, and I want to be with my horse.
Yes.
That's what I try to allocate this time for. And basically, I understood that 5 a.m. was a good time to do that, because I was not really disturbed by anyone at that time.
Wait, what? You were not joking? 5 a.m.?
No, I was not joking. So I think I also really like the quietness of an early morning at the stable. I just really love it. And I do that either on the morning, but I also do that sometime in the evening, and it's also very fine. So it depends really of the day, right? And there is a week like last week where I was managing work and riding, training for competition, and then on Thursday evening we had to leave for competition again. And unfortunately, Friday did not really go super good for me, and I think that was also just because I wasn't really fully present with the horse.
Right.
And I have a very sensitive horse. He's so fantastic. He has this huge natural movement, but you really need to be there, and he
Okay.
really is asking for your order. And for some reason, I entered the track, and I was just, it was just black in front of me. I didn't really know what to do anymore. And he was asking me, Mom, what do we do? What do we do? And I was like, I don't know. And,
Just
I understood that it was really, really important to be present and be in the moment. And I knew that, but I think it was just a slap in the face. Like, it was a good reminder because it went
Right.
better on the day after. At least I had a better feeling.
I know that I started riding not long time ago, right? Less than 10 years, 8 years ago or something like this. And one thing I learned very fast, and still you need to have your partner reminding you, is that if you are angry because of work and you go to the stable, you are angry in a bad mood, don't ride. just pet him, brush him, whatever. Just don't ride. You're gonna make things worse than bad. Uh, yeah. It can be relaxing to ride, but you need to be there. You need to be there with your horse. And I feel like
Exactly. Exactly. I can totally relate to this. I think it's super important to be also extremely fair to the horse. And, the horse did not choose that we had a bad day today. So,
true.
so I think I also always really try to, let my feeling in the car and be like, okay, now I'm at the horse and I'm happy to be here every time. I think it's such a pleasure for me to come. So it doesn't matter the time. It's just always such a relief.
How often do you ride? You ride every day?
Yeah, mostly I ride like 4 times a week, but I'm at the stable mostly every day to do, simply brush the horse or do a little bit of groundwork. But I do train 4 times a week. I for sure ride 3 times, and then I do either, groundwork, lunging work. I started this journey of making my horse tilt with the lunge. And
Ah, wow. Yes, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
so I
yes.
did that with Dieter.
Yes, we're
That
gonna have Dieter in the podcast soon.
Okay, that's amazing. So that's a good advertising for her. She's so fantastic, and she has taught me a lot. I think for me, lunging the horse was always about having the nose on the ground and trotting very like casual and so on. But she was like, if you never put a little bit of pressure from the ground, then how do you want your horse to accept it when you are on the saddle? And I was like, damn it, it makes so much sense. So I started to also ask for a little bit more energy and power when I was launching the horse. So for example, in the walk, I was just really much asking like to have the back with him and really work. And I think this is it takes a while. I cannot say it's making a big difference now, but I can already perceive that in the long run is going to be interesting.
Yeah. We discussed a bit with Dieter, mostly Ariane, and she was like, "Yeah, I started to do that. I thought that was cool." I know that we had trainer here in Sweden that was not launching and tilting, but it was like you are next to your horse on the ground and you make them tilt on the hand, which
Yeah.
is obviously you don't have the full picture because you are quite close to your horse, but you are asking the horse to do the effort of tilting in a way, and I always think is extremely funny, maybe it's not the right word, but it's really fun to do it with your horse and he's tilting and you're like, okay, I need to run next to him, but he's tilting by himself, he's carrying himself in that sense.
Exactly, and I think it's also a little bit like it's very important. I have older horses. I mean, he's not old, but he is in the older age. So I think he enjoys also changing a little bit
Right.
of activity. Not always ride in the riding hole. That's why I'm also trying very much to bring him to the sea, or bring him to the forest, or doing different things, trying to not bore him. I want him to continue liking the job he has because he did not choose it, right?
No.
So I really need to make it interesting for him and always rewarding, for sure.
Yeah, that is super interesting. You mentioned work-life balance. Do you feel it's getting more and more complex to ride, or you manage now to you have your own rhythm and you know what to do, you have your own system?
Yeah, I have very much my own system, so I'm actually quite fine. I travel a lot for work, but I always try to tell my client, hey, I cannot be away for more than 3 days. So I
Okay,
travel a
yeah.
lot, back and forth because I really understood that riding was a priority for me. And sometimes
Right.
it's very, very difficult when you are in the active life to tell this to people because they're like, yeah, you are just a kid and just work and shut up. But it's not like this. You can have priority at 26, and my priority is to ride because
Right.
I want to be the best rider I can be, and I know I'm maybe not competing with the best in the world, right? But at my level, I really, really try to reach the best performance I can. And this is something I carry with me. But to do that, I need to train, you know?
Yes.
And whatever people think sometimes that it's a little bit stupid or childish or whatever, this is my priority. So yeah, it's about, you know, also standing up for yourself and saying, you know, I'm not a professional rider, but I do ride with professionals, so I also need to train like it, you know.
Yes, I agree. I mean, we have we're not professional neither. We don't ride high competition, but we do train. Me personally, I love to. We have two trainers. I have two trainers. Ariana has two trainers, and we train not for competition. It's something that I say multiple times in the podcast. Is just to sustain, for having a sustainable horse. You know, like you need to learn how to better ride. That's it.
Exactly. And you know, you also have to then train yourself, right? Like for me, it's super important to come also as a healthy and balanced rider. So, you know, I do a lot of Pilates and a lot of yoga, a lot of running. I don't say you know, I wish I I did that more, because of course, if I need to prioritize at the time, I prioritize riding. But it's
Yeah.
super important that when I get the time, I just also train my body outside of riding.
So you train yourself, you train your horse, you work, and you mentioned you have a partner. Is he into horses? Tell me he's into horses.
Oh my god, no, he's not. But I mean, he is the best person on the planet, and he's just, you know, spending his weekend with me in competition, and I will. I mean, I'm so damn grateful, you know.
You
I'm
know, like,
so grateful.
yeah. I mean, this is a huge feat because Ari, she's riding since many years. I
Yes.
came in, we met. I never rode, and me, I took the other way of. I think in a lot of ways, your partner and I, like, we want to spend time with you, so
Yes.
this is what it takes. But me, I took the okay, but I buy a horse then. That way, I ride as well. But it's good. It's good. Keep him.
Yeah.
It's good to have someone to help you for sure.
Exactly, and you know, also just never take it for granted. So I also try to make it a great experience for him when we are in competition, and maybe he will tell you it's wrong because I have difficulty to, you know, if something wrong happened in the track and I'm not happy about my performance, then I can be really tough with myself, and you know, I can be really sad afterwards.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I try to remind myself that he also did not choose that life, you know, I chose it to him. So he also doesn't have to handle my bad mood. So I usually let him know that maybe I need 10 minutes to collect and you know, get myself back to positivity, and then, you know, when I'm ready, I'm like, hey, now it's behind us. I will analyze, and you know, I'm an overthinker, so he will probably follow me the whole day and the whole night what went wrong on the track, but at least I try not to overshare it. It's super difficult, so I don't know if I succeed, you know, and I say that in the podcast, and maybe he's telling you, you know, I'm super bad at it, so I don't know.
So just before we wrap up, I'm just curious to know what is the, you know, like you mentioned World Cup last year, sadly, etc. We discussed about mem. I'm just curious to know, like, you have goals, you have long-term goals for you and yourself. You want to go back to World Championship. You have other goals that you feel you need to achieve.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think I haven't been able to really shown everything Byrnir is capable of doing on the track in competition.
Okay.
And I think this is also something that people are not really talking about this, you know, because we are a little bit ashamed, right? And me included. And I train a lot, and he's extremely good at training. And I just wish one day I will be able to bring this feeling in a track with me. And And I don't say at that time I will stop, right? Because I will never stop until the horse wants to go. But I think it will be such a big milestone for me to be able to feel like at least at one competition I brought this feeling I have in training.
Okay.
So this is what I work for and work toward in the upcoming years. Of course, I also always kind of look for, this young horse that will join the team again.
Yes, I was about to ask you. It's like, but is there another horse to buy?
I mean, there is always another horse, right? I fell in love with Icelandic horse when I was maybe, 4 years old, and I got my first horse when I was 11, and that was, the love of my life. I competed for the first time with him at the 5 Youth Cup for France. Then I got Byrnir, and this love story is just continuing, and I know that one day will be another one, and I will love him the same way. Probably it's gonna be a gelding again. That's why I say him. I'm a gelding girl.
Yeah, well, we only have geldings, so I can understand that.
Yes, but I'm always searching for the perfect partner. Like it's difficult to find a rider that is not on Instagram trying to search for the perfect horse, right? Just be honest.
I'm good.
Okay,
Someone else in the house is stalking all the horses, know all the pedigree. Hey, Lydon, you should buy this. Hey, you should buy that, etc., etc. And now that we move to our own farm, we have a bit of space, so which is a problem.
Which is a problem. I wish I had this problem,
Yeah, well, work 100 hours a week, maybe, Julie, you will get there,
Yeah. I should think about that.
But you also look for, because to be frank, let's be honest here. Yes. One horse is it's not so much, right? One horse.
No, but I've also, I also want to be able to give the new horse, if I get one day, the same attention as I give to Björn, I am very much this still like younger, like that, like to brush a horse for like 45 minutes before, putting a saddle on him. And really, I appreciate doing this. I don't do this just because I have to. Okay. I love that time where, we are brushing and spending time and, doing I just like this a lot. So I also want to give the same attention to the next one coming. But now Byrnir is also in a super fantastic stable in north of Copenhagen, in Sølust. And I just also, this place is the biggest dream come true for us, and we have like 100% trust into the people working there and the owner, and I know they always have the horse best interest at heart, and that's also why I'm always searching for the next one, because I know I have the perfect place for them to be.
Is he always outside, or is he in a box in the evening, or how does it work?
So he's outside from 7 in the morning until like 5 or 6 in the evening. Okay. And then he is going back inside for the night. And I think it's feeding his lifestyle pretty well. And the fantastic part of this stable is that our gelding are, in the paddock together. And we have many, many great competition horses that, of course, cost a lot of money. And that was a choice of us all seated together to take the decision to put them together.
Right.
Because we were we want them to have a horse life.
Yeah.
And that was super, super important for us to say, no, we don't want them to be alone. Of course, all the stallions are alone, for safety reason and so on. But the gelding are just, very happy every morning to find each other again. And to be honest, they are more interested by eating grass than even playing together.
Yeah. And they are always out in the summer months, so it's they are used to it. But for sure, having them in a herd together, and geldings are good boys, right? So like they can fight, they can play a bit rough sometimes, but I think they're pretty well behaved.
But to be honest, I think it's just also super nice for us to see them happy.
Yes,
and being
true.
together is really, giving me at least the feeling that they are like they are in a more like natural environment, I would say.
Yeah. This is already the end of this episode. And again, thank you, Julie, for taking the time in your busy schedule, so we understood. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We will come back very soon with a new episode. In the meantime, do not hesitate to share this episode with everyone. Never hesitate to comment, reach out to us. And before leaving you, we'd like to mention that you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more news and stories, the tall tales. Thank you, Julie, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.